Okay. In that case, recording is recording. So let's go. What the hell? That's slow. That's the answer, isn't it? I also noticed that they hadn't proven that the Windows seals were intact. But if they can't use the blue truth, what are they supposed to do? Yeah, I know. I'm sure you're laughing at me again because you alone have discovered the answer. I still don't understand exactly. Why was it forbidden for blue truth to be used if based on the argument that the Windows seals of the next room over were torn at the time of the logic error? Because duplicate submissions are forbidden? Oh, so the blue truth you just spoke will be unusable during this wedding ceremony. Because some weird bureaucracy stuff? My apologies, child of man. I am having trouble just as you are. I can't believe I'm hearing you say that. I also realized that the windows of the next room over were left available. However, I hadn't imagined that the use of that argument would be prevented. Doesn't this seriously violate the rules? I mean, how can a quiz be fair if you can't say the right answer? Isn't this a logic error for the other side? We can also view the fact that the tale is continuing as proof that it wasn't a logic error. I was about to say, if they prohibit making that argument, then either it was not right, or the whole upcoming talk about it would be broken. So it has to be the first one. In other words, that some other answer completely unrelated to the windows of the next room over. Or it might be possible to explain, without discussing the windows, how one of those 5 came to Bella's rescue. If they can't talk about the windows, they'll have to find a different way to leave that room, through the floor. That practically makes the next room over a closed room. Yes, that is why I'm also stuck. Because of these strange seal proclamations, the 2 rooms have once again become closed rooms. Most likely what? If you're so vastly intelligent, what kind of answer have you found? There is no answer. No answer? What do you mean? There is no way out except for the windows of the next room over. And yet we are not allowed to include those windows in our reasoning. There probably is no answer for this closed room. And if so, what next? Since no answer exists, then defeat is absolutely certain for whichever player is burdened with the responsibility of explaining. So we have no moves left? In other words, that statement of Glenner's was the final blow? Doesn't this make it checkmate? No, one move does exist. However, that move is one that can never be used again. And it is also a part of Beato's heart. You mean one of the greatest riddles of this tale? Precisely by using that, or possibly. Feathergreen sighed deeply. It was something she hadn't done once before now. I see, so as long as the tale has been, it is finally time for the curtain to close. Exposing the answer to this riddle means the same as finally killing Beato. But perhaps Battler's the only one qualified to make that decision. If he weaves such a tale as the Game Master, no one will be able to stop it now. The greatest riddle of this tale will probably be revealed very soon. A deep sound reverberated through the cathedral. It was the sound of techno music. No, wait. It was the sound of the several dozen Chester sisters, Imperial Guards, members of the Honor Guard, who stood in a line across the cathedral and stamped their heels in unison. It brought about total silence even before the demons running the ceremony spoke. Let us have silence, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the wedding of Lord Battler, Territory Lord and Golden Sorcerer, and Lady Erica, the Witch of Truth. Should have put the pause in there before Lady Erica. Zipar and Furufuru had appeared in the center of the cathedral. Having them invited to host a wedding was a great honor. Though they had asked for silence, the attendants who packed the cathedral welcomed the 2 demons with an enormous applause. Oh, it's Zipar and Furfur. Then what about Beato? She may already have snuck onto the grounds. They searched for Beato in the crowd of several hundred people, but they couldn't find her anywhere. I wonder if Beato managed to find a way to save Battlecrown. If she managed to gain Zipar and Furfur's power, Then I'm sure she has. There exists no miracle that cannot be gained after receiving their strength. Well, unless they just give you a hint of a hint that nobody fucking understands. And by nobody, I mean me. And if she didn't, man, that goat biting its handkerchief over there is probably her. Then let us welcome the bride and groom. Please give them a grand welcome and celebrate them as they start on their new life. Come out, bride and groom! Walk the path with shekels, called marriage, which will bind you until the grave. Sorry. The big doors in the back of the cathedral slowly opened. And then the territory lord and his beautiful, deranged, insane, sadistic bride came into view. Arm in arm, the pair slowly began to walk down the path to the grave, lined with red carpet. The Chester honor guard stood at attention along either side of that path, raised their adorned bayonets with mechanical precision, and made sure that no evil could block the path that the pair walked down. Chester's sister that weren't part of the honor guard were stationed all over the cathedral, hiding behind pillars and the like, keeping an eye out for any intruders. 00, calling 45 and 410. Any irregularities? Ceiling snipers, all clean, yeah. 410 and 45 were on top of a massive chandelier, hanging from the cathedral ceiling. Several other sniper pairs could be seen stationed on top of other chandeliers. This seemingly festive cathedral was actually being heavily guarded in places that the attendants wouldn't notice. And not only make him watch, but also Beato in a cage. Currently we are simultaneously targeting 36 attendants suspected of being Lady Beatrice. Are you 36 people, or does one person have 36 guns? As well as 131 in positions from which an attack might be launched. Surveillance in progress. See, you forgot about that, and that makes everything good again. Don't let your guard down. Lady Beatrice will almost certainly stage an attack on this wedding. Hope she brings a minigun. That'd be so cool, breaking in to steal the bride, yeah? 410, he's the groom, not the bride. But he's playing the bride's part, yeah? The Chester sniper teams on the chandeliers used super high efficiency observers to track the movements of the several hundred attendants. If any one of those made any suspicious movements, the Chesters had been given permission to fire immediately. The one on that chandelier is Chester 127. That overkilling monster sniper could pulverize a human target from 2 kilometers away. I was about to ask the same thing, like, how does it even make sense to claim he's the bride or the groom? The one on the chandelier across from that is Chester 20. Her firing rate is 6,000 shots per minute. However, she's using a portable magazine this time, so 2 seconds is all it'll take for her to use up her ammo. Lazy bum can barely do her job for 2 seconds, yeah. Slowly and making a show of it, the two walked down the red carpeted path. Bella's eyes were blank. If you looked closely, you could probably tell that Erica was dragging him by the arm she held. She must be very strong. In other words, they weren't walking together. This was a ceremony for Erica to show off to everyone that this man belonged to her. Behind the bride and groom walked the 7 sisters of Purgatory, who held long ceremonial arms in the shape of the one-winged eagle. That moron, Bella. What is he lazing about for? This is why people call him incompetent. I can understand Beatrice Summer's pain better than anyone else. It's all because that stupid Bella caused a logic error. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Baka, baka, baka. Beatrice Summer will not fall to sloth and let this wedding go on. Of course, Beatrice Summer is greedy. She won't let someone else take away her favorite toy. She'll definitely show up. I hear the reception's gonna have tons of delicious food. I want to wear a wedding dress now. Bernkastel and Lambda Delta were in the nobles, seating on the balcony. They were sipping some bizarre carbonated cocktails as they looked down upon the show.
What a splendid wedding dress. I love stuff like this.
This is just the opening performance.
That's pretty cool. Which event do you think will be the headliner? Don't tell me you really think Beato will come. As you know as well, Battler's closed room is perfect. How could Beato win, right?
You must have heard too. There's a chance that the window seal on the room next door has been torn. It seems that Blenner has managed to seal that path off for now, but she just denied the concept instead of sealing the actual window. It will fly out the window again. This one-winged eagle thing.
Wanna bet?
And whether Beato comes?
I bet she comes with certainty.
I bet she comes miraculously.
This isn't going to work.
The Witch of Certainty and the Witch of Miracles were both sure that Beato would come. However, they were very interested in exactly how she would break the closed room and take Battler back. You've been watching from behind the scenes, so you probably know. You know what the trick is.
More or less. But Erika has done a hell of a job, so now even I'm stunned.
Liar.
Huh?
I'm sure you've found one already. There does exist a trick that can save Battler, right?
There does. But it's tough.
And if that move is used, part of Beato's heart will be exposed. Isn't that right?
Oh, so you already know?
Hey, wanna change your bet?
To what?
To whether Beato or Erika wins.
Sure, if you're willing to bet on Erika.
I'll do it.
Oh, you're betting on Erika? And why do you think you can win?
If this trick is a part of Beato's heart, then Battler, the Game Master, will hesitate at exposing it. And so they cannot win. It will probably be a draw. I'm sure they'll sidestep the issue somehow. And run away.
Battler has sworn to let Beato rest in peace. Well, you're being too naive.
The bet was made, based on the assumption of that certain miracle that Beato would come. Julia, who was standing in the front row, tried to call out as soon as Battler walked by. She tried to tell him that the window seal on the next room over hadn't been checked, hoping that this would give him a hint. However, she had been marked perfectly. The instant she tried to lean forward, two Cheester sisters right behind her grabbed her arms. That powerful force told her that she wouldn't be able to move even a step forward. Trapped, she was forced to stand there and watch as Battler walked past.
Battler could.
Even now, he's fighting in that closed room all by himself. However, he cannot get out by his own power alone. Unless someone comes to save him, he cannot get out.
Unless that child comes to save him, Battler will be trapped.
If there is a key to that closed room, I am certain Milady will find it. Milady, I'm sure you have gone through many trials in your life, but please, this is one trial that you must overcome. I am certain that you can do it. I, Renaud, do not doubt that in the slightest. The bride and groom's procession slowly advanced down the path to the grave and reached the altar. Though walking slowly was ceremonious and proper etiquette, it was also tiring. Erika glanced over at Battler. Of course his eyes were blank. His heart was still inside that closed room. Once more the sound of the Cheester honor guards stamping their heels rang out loudly. Silence returned to the cathedral again. Now the wedding ceremony would finally begin.
People live for the sake of love, therefore today you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, how great is the power to live, the power of love. I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all time. Come now, you who love one another, make the oath of love. In the place of the husband who cannot speak, let the wife make the oath on behalf of the pair.
This is the beginning of the episode, right? Kind of.
Battler swears to Erika, and Erika swears to Battler to support each other both in sickness and in health. I didn't catch that, Battler, son. If you have some objection, please say it a bit more clearly in a loud voice.
Damn it.
If you have anything further to say, please get yourself out of that logic error closed room first. Don't worry, I'll support you until that day comes.
Yeah, right. Like hell you will.
You've heard the pair's oath of love.
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, let this oath be eternal.
The thunderous applause celebrated their marriage of subordination. After the oath, they would symbolize the bond. It was the exchanging of the rings. The territory lord's ring with the one-winged eagle engraved on it that sat on Battler's finger would become Erika's. By this, she would become the ruler of this game board, and in exchange, Battler's finger would be given a diamond ring that Erika had prepared. At a glance, it just looked like a ring adorned by a large diamond. However, this cursed ring would force Battler into eternal subservience and mark him as another's property. It would be great if it was the one ring from Lord of the Rings. He would just become invisible. And possibly powerful.
Yes, let the pair exchange rings. Since the husband's finger cannot move, let his wife support him.
Erika respectfully took Battler's right hand, then slowly pulled off the territory lord's ring that had been on his finger. That was the ring Beato had entrusted him with. Don't do it. But Erika stole it away.
This is the ring that woman left behind, right? How does it feel to have that stolen away by a woman like me?
Let's probably go to hell.
Huh? I can't hear you. Oh, please say it one more time.
Go to hell.
Oh, that. Well, then there's no need to worry, Battler's son.
Erika pressed her lips up against Battler's earlobe as if biting it and told him where they were.
We're already there.
Then slowly she took Beato's ring, which she had stolen from Battler, and slipped it onto her own left hand.
And now, bride, you may give the groom your ring.
That's one hell of a ring. A shackle that'll hold him in place for all time.
Yeah, it's custom made.
Even Battler's blank eyes could see the diamond ring Erika held. Yeah, this is about time for an objection right here. It was like Erika herself. On the outside, it shone beautifully and possessed an absolute hardness that would bend to no one's will. And on the inside, to symbolize never letting go of the prey it had latched onto, it had 8 sharp thorns pointing inwards. If they had been growing out of the outer side, it would have looked like the collar of a guard dog from hell. However, whoever heard of putting those on the inside? By twisting the diamond, those thorns could slide in or out. In other words, if you twisted it after thrusting the finger inside, the inward-facing thorns would bite down, never releasing until the end of time. Wasn't that a nice concept? Then even his soul would be trapped, and his body, mind, and soul would be forced to serve Erika for all eternity. Are you kidding me? Who the hell would wear a ring like that? He couldn't even finish speaking that simple phrase, and furthermore, those awkward words were the only way he could resist. She raised Battler's left hand and stroked his ring finger as if tasting it. Erika pressed the ring of subordination against the tip of his finger. If a ring is made to fit too tightly, it can be painful and hard to take off. However, this ring was never intended to be removed for life anyway, so its inner band had been mercilessly narrowed. Even without the thorns, forcing a small ring like this on would hurt.
This ring will seal up your body, heart, and soul for all eternity, and you'll become an eternal living doll. I won't even let you die. You'll be endlessly defiled and humiliated by me. And every time I forget the taste of victory, I'll just use your body to remind me, over and over again. If you've got the guts to bite off your tongue, now's the time. Once this goes on your finger, you won't even be able to do that.
Battler didn't even have the strength to bite his tongue. If he had, he didn't want to give up before finding a way to escape the closed room, so he couldn't kill himself, even if he had. However, if he accepted the ring, he would never be able to even think about escaping from the room, much less commit suicide. Stop it.
No way. Look, I'm sticking your finger in.
It hurts. It wasn't just the pain of having his finger forced through the tight ring. The curse of the ring fiercely tormented Battler's body from the inside. That pain would always torment Battler, but fortunately, the power of the ring even stole away the heart that could understand that pain. Erika kept screwing that too small demon's ring on.
Hurts. It's impossible. There's no way it'll fit. Don't worry. It will fit, no problem.
With an obscene laugh, Erica let a silver thread drip from her mouth and soaked the finger in the ring.
Please relax. We'll stick it in all at once. Please don't resist uselessly. It'll hurt less if you don't resist, okay? You see, now it's sliding right in. No.
Slowly, Battler's finger went deeper and deeper through the ring. He was pushed through the iron ring of pain and humiliation, which would never be removed again.
Come on, look, okay? It's an all the way to the base, see? It hurts, take it off.
The demon's ring tightened around the finger, so much that it seemed the finger would snap off along with the bone. Could Battler's hazy expression of anguish really describe how unbearable his filthy pain was?
Okay, now that it's on all the way, let's add the final touch, shall we? After this, you will be mine forever.
Erica touched the ring's diamond knob. If she twisted it, the thorns would bite in and never let go again.
No, stop it. Sure, just say forgive me, Erika-sama, and I'll stop. Really? Please forgive me, Erika-sama. I swear to spend the rest of my life as your dog with a collar around my neck, so at least spare me that ring. If you can say that, I won't make you wear the ring. Huh? I can't really hear you.
I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you.
For making you suffer like this?
No, I'll never forgive you for defiling Beato's ring. Though Bella's eyes had supposedly been forced into a muddled condition, they appeared strong for just an instant. Or it really was only for an instant. Bella had used up the last of his fleeting resistance just to say those words. In his dim consciousness, he had even bitten his own tongue to stay alert, so that he could say those words of resistance until the very end.
Of course, it seems you aren't the kind of dog that can be tamed, but it's better that way.
Erica smiled. Then she turned the diamond. In that instant, Batla let out a voiceless scream and threw his head back. His howl had no voice and could be heard by no one. However, it still rang out throughout the cathedral. The end. The happiest day of Batla's life is probably every day except this one. A dreary breeze blew through the rose garden. Shannon and Connor had already finished walking 19 steps, their backs still facing each other. Yeah, if they could just hurry the fuck up, Beato could rescue Bella already. When the demons conducting the trial gave the signal, they would both turn and settle this. Each had one of the dueling pistols given by the demons in their hands. The bullets promised certain death no matter where on the body they hit. Then I guess this must have been before the ceremony, because Zepar and Furfur were part of this whole thing as well, and they can't be at two places at the same time, or can they? Who knows? This duel would not end until one of them died. George and Jessica just quietly watched the ones they loved. I'm not sure what I hear. Maybe it's children outside. I'll close the window. Yeah, I think it's some children outside are screaming something to each other. George and Jessica just quietly watched the ones they loved. They had already entrusted all of their thoughts to them, as well as their fates. Just watching over their partners was now the only way they could show their trust. It's just battle in the distance. Well, that's not cruel at all. Shannon and Kanon stood quietly with their backs turned. I'm still saying Kanon gets shot. They had already set aside the feelings they had built up during all those days they had known each other. The next time they laid eyes on the other, nothing would be asked of them except pulling the trigger. The only one who still couldn't muster any determination or resolve towards this duel was Beato. The closer that moment came, the less he understood. The love between George and Shannon wasn't standing in the way of the love between Jessica and Connor, or vice versa. Why, when both sides could find happiness, were they being forced to kill each other? I don't understand. I just can't understand. Little sister, we are not permitted to do anything but watch. Zepa-san, Fufu-san, why this duel? This is no trial of love. You really are demons. You just want to enjoy watching one of the pairs fall apart, don't you? Silence. You'll get in the way of the lovers. You're the ones getting in their way. One will fall. The one who loves that person will grieve. If only you two weren't around, no one would be sad. That is not true. If we hadn't set up this duel, then both pairs would have fallen apart. This duel is necessary. I haven't been able to accept that since the beginning. You say that love can be successful without a miracle or magic? What does love need other than two people who love each other? This duel is meaningless. So stop it, you two, Shannon and Kano, both. Why must you fight each other to the death when you were once as close as true siblings? I just can't understand. Everyone should have been able to hear Beato's yell. However, no one's expression changed. That's right. I'm impressed that you noticed. This is love's truth. What is? Normally, love needs nothing more than two people who love each other. Therefore, when there aren't two people, we must use a duel to make that number become two. I could understand it if it were a duel between two people fighting over one woman, if it were a duel to cut three people in love down to two. But here we have two pairs of people. Maybe Shannon and Kanon are the same person, but they just have two genders. The world formed by each pair is complete, isn't it? There's nothing compelling them to fight. The minimum number of people then could create a world is two. A world can only be born, love can only be fulfilled when two people gather. That's why this duel is necessary, so that they can get up to that number of people. Are you saying that furniture is subhuman so they don't count as a single person? Exactly. Furniture is subhuman. That's why furniture and a human cannot add up to two people. That's insane. Status has nothing to do with it if both of them love each other. No, it does. Do you really think that the status of a pair of lovers doesn't matter? Is a man who has a wife allowed to love someone else? What do you mean, is a man who has a wife? Oh, okay. I thought the man allowed the wife to love someone else. Is a man who has a wife allowed to love someone else? Is a woman who has a husband allowed to love someone else? Are you allowed to fall in love with your parents? Are you allowed to fall in love with your children? There are many situations where status makes love unallowable. Then just what is furniture? Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Because their soul is less than a single person. Shannon, Connor, and of course the piece that you are. All of you are furniture, subhuman beings who possess less than a single person's soul. To be qualified to love a human, you need only one thing, the possession of a single person's soul. That's why a pair in love can create a world. For example, do you think a man with a wife has the right to love another woman? Of course not. If he loved two women, neither would get a full person's worth of love. A man such as that would be unworthy of love. See, there are plenty of statuses in humans who have no right to love a person. As long as both people feel love, nothing else matters. That's just the hypocrisy of naive love. We cannot forgive humans who falsely pretend that they have the right to love. We cannot forgive the love of subhuman beings, of those who don't make up the minimum number of people required to create a world. That is the purpose of our trial. It is to let the sinful souls regain a complete soul and become capable of true love. I'm hearing more weird noises. Maybe it's below me. Zepa-sama, Furu-Furu-sama. Our hearts are ready. Please give the signal to start the duel. The pair, bidding farewell, quietly asked for the signal to be given. Zipper nodded silently, then walked to a place that could be seen by both of them. Furu-Furu spoke in a voice quiet enough to avoid distracting the two duelists. Sorry I'm restarting the music, but okay, it is Furu-Furu. I just wanted to know what her or his Japanese name actually is. Spoke in a voice quiet enough to avoid distracting the two duelists. Watch.
Watch the duel to see which of the lovers will fall apart. No, this isn't a duel to see who falls apart. This is a duel to make true love succeed. I don't understand what you two are saying. No, you must understand. This marks the birth of a human who can truly love another. I don't understand. No matter which wins, please support them. Right now their day as furniture will end. The signal is simple. I will count to 3. When I reach 3, the duel will commence.
Understood. You know, so I kind of like my, I'm not saying that that's the truth, because it's just way too ridiculous, but I still kind of find my idea funny that they might be the same person. Maybe he doesn't have huge balonga-hongas, they're just fake. And that's why George and Shannon never did anything on vacation, because it's actually a man. Or maybe nobody knows what it is, and this whole thing represents that they finally tear over the cloth of the person to see what's underneath. Let's just ignore that. Forget everything I said. Let's continue.
Same here. If both miss, the duel will be temporarily suspended. You will be given bullets again and will start over from the beginning with your backs to each other. I guess it'll repeat until it's all settled.
Zipa, have you seen this sort of duel many times in the past?
Of course, I've seen many of them.
Usually, how many times do they need to face off before it's over?
In almost all cases, it's decided in the first round. They must all be really good shots.
That's not it. If one side misses, the other can corner them at their leisure and shoot. If the first bullet misses, then you've lost your chance of victory. Yeah, but that would only work if one of them already expects the other to miss and doesn't shoot immediately as well. I mean, usually both of them turn around and shoot as fast as they can. So I don't think you would have the reaction time to realize that your opponent has missed you and not shoot. You would just turn around and shoot as fast as you can. Like, both would just turn around and shoot as fast as they can. So I don't think there would be any time to realize, oh, I have actually not been shot, so I should not shoot as well. Just my thoughts here.
However, if you take too long, you'll lose before you can even pull the trigger. If you're going to lose anyway, you'd at least want to have pulled the trigger first.
I guess it could be a very risky tactic. Like, you turn around and purposefully don't shoot at first, hoping the other will miss.
Your resolve is good, you two. Then, let's go.
Would be kind of awkward if both did the same, though. Like, both turn around and don't shoot. It's gonna be hard to watch. I mean, I've been joking a bit about this scene, but if you, like, think about it with a less jokey mindset, then this would be pretty harsh. 1, 2.
Three.
In the Golden Rose Garden, when the number 3 was yelled, the sound of gunfire rang out once. Even the people watching couldn't tell whether that was a single gun firing or the sound of both going off at the same time. In the midst of the stench of gunpowder and white smoke, there, with gun raised and smoke trailing the barrel, was Kanon, and lying on the earth was Shannon.
Shannon? Son?
No, Shannon fell before the gun fired.
Yeah.
I see. She threw herself to the ground, I guess, to avoid the bullet. See, I told you, Kanon's a goner. Jessica's distressed expression was enough to explain what had happened. Slowly, Shannon stood up. There was no bullet wound anywhere on her body. At the time of the signal, Shannon had thrown herself to the ground, dodging the bullet. It had been a bet. If Kanon had turned around and taken the time to aim carefully before shooting, then he would have shot her as she lay there. However, if Kanon shot as soon as he turned around, she would be able to dodge it. Kanon had also made a bet. He did not underestimate Shannon's skill with a firearm. He was fully aware that if he assumed Shannon would be timid enough to let him shoot first, he would lose before even pulling the trigger. So he had decided to shoot right away. and he had predicted that when he shot, Shannon would reflexively pull the trigger too. Since he intended to shoot right away, he would be more mentally prepared, so he was confident that he'd be able to shoot accurately. If Kanon had cautiously turned around, and Shannon had shot instantly with the strength of her will, then Kanon wouldn't even have been able to pull the trigger. So no impatience on Kanon's part was to blame here. The two had simply given it their all, left their fates to the heavens, and reached this result. I didn't imagine that my quick-tempered Nissan wouldn't shoot at all.
I'm surprised too. To think that old, prudent Kanon-kun would shoot as soon as he turned.
As Shannon quietly pointed the barrel at him, she slowly walked forward. She planned on cautiously closing that gap until she reached a distance from which she could hit with even more certain accuracy. And Kanon had already lost any means of fighting back. He could only try to dodge Shannon's bullet and place his bet on the second round. If they both thought this, then what happened next would turn that assumption on its head.
This is no way.
Kanon dashed forward like a tornado, bent over so low that he was almost crawling over his shadow. This duel could only be settled by a bullet, but he wasn't the only one who had a bullet. Oh. If he could steal Shannon's gun away from her, you could turn this fight around, and if Shannon calmly shot through Kanon, it would end. The odds that Shannon would miss, or that he could get close enough to her before she fired, Kanon would bet all the chips he had on them. Shannon could draw Kanon in until the last second, then shoot him from a closer distance. If she pulled the trigger just before he reached her, then even if she missed, they would just start again from the beginning. Shannon kept her gun pointing at Kanon's forehead as she compared these options until the final moment. She led her shot, calculating the distance he had already moved and the time it would take to pull the trigger. The goddess of fortune smiled impartially.
Wow! No.
Surviving past the final moment, Shannon could have shot. Kanon barreled into her chest. He then swung his hand up and knocked the gun Shannon held into the air. That strike sent Shannon's gun flying into the sky. At the same time, Kanon's gun also flew from his hand and danced through the air. The two guns danced a rondo through the sky, reached their peak, and began to fall. By that time, neither knew whose gun was which. The two guns were exactly the same. Everything about them was identical. There was no way to tell them apart. However, there was one difference. Only one of them had a bullet inside. The pair raised their hands to the sky, trying to grasp their fate, their miracle. It was as though they were trying to grasp the wings of a descending angel of miracles. The pair looked up at the brilliant sky and entrusted everything to the goddess of fortune. Then they each grabbed one of the guns out of the air, and after dancing a momentary rondo, their arms crossed each other. Even that had been like a dance. Then they each pressed the barrel of the gun up against the other's forehead, both as steady as a rock. Even they could not know which gun held the bullet. When they both pressed the triggers, one would die and one would remain alive. The match would end. George and Jessica wouldn't know the result until that moment came. However, was it really impossible for the two holding the guns to know? The muzzle of Kanon's gun, which had already been fired, must have been warm, and the muzzle of the other gun, which Shannon hadn't fired, should have been ice cold. So perhaps the pair of them did realize which gun was which. And yet, both expressions were solemn, the faces of those who would believe in their fate unswervingly until the moment the triggers were pulled.
Don't be sad. We'll meet again soon in the Golden Land.
We should have done this much sooner.
If only we had, our reunion could have been avoided entirely.
It's alright. Considering what day this is, even this duel is just a farce.
You're right. If we're just going to arrive on the Golden Land anyway, it really is just a farce.
Then I'll see you later.
Yeah, you too.
So long.
Kanon-kun.
Okay. Hey, what's going on? Hang in there. Suddenly, Kanon fell to the floor as if he'd had an attack of anemia. It had happened without any warning beforehand, so everyone rushed up to him in alarm. What they saw surprised them. There was a single strand of blood across his forehead, making it look as though it had cracked open.
Huh? Oh.
What happened? What's going on? Trying to get a look at the wound, Goda wiped Kanon's forehead with a handkerchief. However, his forehead was perfectly smooth, without any trace of a wound, and yet blood was pouring out, almost as though it was seeping through his skin.
What are you doing? Stop the bleeding already. But even though there's no wound, the blood won't stop coming. Hang in there, Kanon-kun. Kanon-kun. Yoshi-kun. Kanon's forehead was pale, and though his eyes were open, they had lost the light of the living. Just like a puppet whose strings had been cut, he had passed away. Well, I mean, they did say that it would be a painless death, more or less, quick and painless. Yoshi-kun! Yoshi-kun! So long, Kanon-kun, and thank you. Jessica dashed up to Kanon's corpse, held it, pressed her forehead against it, and as the still hot blood was smeared over her forehead as well, she sobbed. Shannon. Do it, son. We've won. Now, I finally have the right to love you. Shannon leaned against George's chest as though the strings holding her up had been cut. George held her in silence. Yoshi-kun! Yoshi-kun! There was nothing in the golden rose garden except the wind that carried golden flower petals and the sound of Jessica's grieving sobs. Is your triumph finished now? It is. Congratulations. You two were the ones who remained. We will give you a blessing, but please don't forget, you are now responsible for nurturing your love. Please take good care of the seed of love that this miracle has created. Of course, I swear it to her and you too. And now let Shannon have the miracle of magic. Now your soul will become human, you will become a single person. Gather incomplete souls, become one and know love. When Zepar and Furufuru faced the heavens and yelled, the miracle of love gathered the souls around Shannon. They came from the losers of the trial, from Kanon who had been defeated, and from Beato who had dropped out. Slowly the bodies of the two began to break down into flecks of gold dust. Hello, but we still need her. What is going on here? No one ever said that the losers would disappear. As she yelled, Beato the Elder supported the body of her fading little sister. However, the two demons were smiling quietly. Kanon has disappeared because he died. Beato was born to love Battler and is disappearing because she has lost the qualifications to do that. It is quite fair. If you had survived, the other two would have vanished. Hang in there, little sister. Hang in there. Weren't you going to solve Battler's closed room and save him? What are you doing getting finished off in a place like this? You call yourself a part of our complete form? Why was I born? For the purpose of loving Battler-san. Why do I love Battler-san? The truth is, I don't know why I started to love him. What? Why are you saying this now? After all, when I was born, I was told to love Battler-san and be loved by him. That was my purpose, so I don't really know why I love him. But people don't need a reason to love each other. Don't disappear. If you disappear, who will save Battler? Little sister Beato, Beatrice. Why is it that I love Battler-san? Mother? Well, I'm actually not a big fan of the family-oriented type of girl. You see how crude I am, right? I just can't handle acting politely in front of girls, ladies first and all that stuff. So if I had to say what type I liked, well, I'd probably like a Jessica-ish girl. If I'm crude, why shouldn't she be too? It would probably be just perfect to have a rough, relaxed relationship where we could mess around without worrying about gender and be rude with no worries. So if I ever get a girlfriend, I hope it's someone I can joke around with all the time. Huh? What would you look like? Can't say I care much either way. Well, if she did happen to be a glamorous woman, blonde and bouncy with blue eyes like in Western films, that'd be awesome. I'd love to rub those boobs. Oh, better. Beatrice, listen. I am giving you my love
for Ushidomiya Battler. Become the kind of woman Battler wants. Take the golden hair he likes. Take the blue eyes he likes. Take this personality that matches his, and then you must love him in my place. And then, if possible, you must be loved by him. I can no longer love him. Please take my feelings that went unfulfilled, my feelings that I couldn't hold back, and make my wish come true. From this day forward, you are no longer the Rokkenjima ghost that lives only to play pranks. From this day forward, you will become the master of this island and wait for the day that he comes to fulfill his promise. From this day forward, you will do this in my place. So from this day forward, you will no longer be me. Please forgive me for pushing all of my worries onto you, while I alone try to find happiness. From this day forward, you have the right to hate everything. From this day forward, you are the Golden Witch, Beatrice. And one day, you will destroy everything, revive everything. You will bring blessings to all lovers. When that happens, I pray that you and I will both succeed in finding happiness. From this day forward, you will no longer be me. From this day forward, I will no longer be you. The two of us will split apart a single soul and share it. And though, of course, neither of us will possess a complete soul, I'm sure our dreams will be more numerous than those of humans. Let us be blessed. My dear Beatrice, no one will be able to see your form, however I alone can see you, and if you are loved by many people, I'm sure that everyone will be able to see you someday. With love, they will be able to see us.
Yoshiya-kun.
Are we dreaming? Insane. What kind of joke is this? Well,
Get Dr. Nanjo. Call Dr. Nanjo here. Goda, that is enough.
Genji, who had been calm and silent through the whole thing, finally spoke, and his were the most reasonable words spoken. If they called Nanjo here, then what? Not only was there no arm to take the pulse of, there wasn't even a forehead to feel the heat of. Like leftover snow on a spring day, Kanon's form had been. By now, not even a trace remained. His form had sparkled with a spray of gold, vanishing completely.
Well, where did he go? Where's Yoshiya-kun? Yoshiya-kun, Yoshiya-kun.
How can you just disappear again? So long, lady. No, Jessica. Kanon-san, by now no one's eyes can see us. That means that we're no longer in their world. However, we are right here. You're right. We are here. For us, a body is nothing more than a cage made of flesh. There's no need to be sad. But I do feel sad for her, for Jessica-san. This is all my sin. This is why furniture isn't supposed to love. What will you do now? Though I have lost my form, though I can no longer talk to her, and even though if Jessica ever talks to me, I can do nothing except nod behind her back, I will be by her side. I think that's wonderful. What will you do? I want to save Battler-san from a closed room. Closed room? Huh. After looking a bit taken aback, Kanon laughed gently. Beata, who had expected to be laughed at, looked a little sour. Why are you laughing? This is very important to me. But it's a closed room. That's something for humans with bodies to worry about, right? Huh? Oh. We've already been released from our cage of flesh. How could a closed room hinder us? Are you sure about that? I mean, there's a chain lock and packing tape seals and red truth. I see. So you aren't a being from the world of pieces, but a higher level world. That means your limitations are different from ours, or so I hear. Oh well. Kanon stretched. It looked as though he was about to head out somewhere. Kanon-san, seeing as you're a fellow loser, okay, I'll go for you. I'll go to the guest room in the mansion, let Battler-sama out, set the chain behind me, and hide in the closet in his place. Is that enough? I'm glad for the sentiment. However, even if you wanted to leave the cousin room, because of Erika-san's seals... Unlike the next room over, the cousin room containing Kanon was a guaranteed complete closed room, even counting the windows. Not only did he have no way to save Battler, he couldn't even escape himself. In that case, use your magic to give me power. My magic? Yeah, use your magic on me. Wait, I don't even know how. Aren't you Beatrice the Golden Witch? I am a witch, but, I don't even know about closed room tricks, much less magic. Okay, listen up, Beatrice. I'll only tell you this once. This is what a witch is. What a witch is? A witch is not the one who solves puzzles. Not the one who solves puzzles? Yeah, that's right. If you're a witch, why are you clutching at your head because of someone else's puzzles? That's not a witch's job, right? But then what is a witch's job? The Golden Witch I know would have used insane magic to create a puzzle that no one could understand, confusing everyone and sneering. Create a horrible riddle that no one can get, spin everyone around and badmouth them. You aren't supposed to clutch at your head worrying about your opponent's puzzles. That's your opponent's job. Worrying is my opponent's job. Don't worry about how we see them about like are out of a closed room. A chain-locked closed room? How trivial. You need to create a much more spectacular ultimate closed room and make it so that they're the ones worrying. I'll even lend a hand. I'm not the one who worries. That's for them to do. It's about time they learned the true terror of the Golden Witch Beatrice, the one who can create endless closed room tricks of the most horrific kind, tricks that can make even the demons of hell prostrate themselves in shock. A closed room even more horrific than Bella Sons? We've already gotten our hands on one, haven't we? A horrific closed room? In the back of Beatrice's mind, images she remembered began to flit by, one after another: the mansion, the guest house, the rose garden. Trick, mistake, lure, taunt, trap, laugh together. Do you know about this trick? I think I've seen something like it in a book before. Beatrice's eyes opened wider and wider. Countless lights circled around her, swallowing her up. And one more thing. What? That's no way for the Witch of Closed Rooms to talk. So after all, I must be me.